Trump's new tariff deal. U.S. auto CEOs cool with Japan trade terms. Industry impact. Can you believe that U.S. auto executives are apparently fine with facing steeper taxes on their own vehicles compared to what's coming from Japan? That's the eye-opening claim from Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, and it's stirring up quite a debate in the world of international trade. Let's dive into the details of this controversial trade deal announced by President Donald Trump. And I'll break it down in a way that's easy to follow, even if you're new to how tariffs work. Tariffs are basically fees that countries slap on imported goods to make them pricier, often to shield local businesses from foreign competition. In this case, Trump's new agreement with Japan means Japanese cars exported to the U.S. will face a 15% tariff, while American companies could end up paying 25% on vehicles they build in Canada or Mexico and then bring into the U.S. That's a significant difference that could tilt the playing field. But Lutnick insists that the heads of major U.S. automakers aren't sweating it. He outright dismissed gripes from the American Automotive Policy Council, which speaks for giants like General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis. When asked about their concerns on CNBC's Squawk on the Street, Lutnick laughed it off, calling the criticism just so silly. He explained that he had direct chats with these CEOs earlier that day, and they told him they're cool with the deal. That's a bold stance, especially since Japan is also committing to pump $550 billion into U.S. investments, which could create jobs and boost the economy in other ways. But here's where it gets controversial. While Japanese automakers like Toyota, Honda, Nissan, and Mazda saw their stock prices skyrocket after the news, think shares jumping because investors love lower tariffs, the big three U.S. companies are raising red flags. Matt Blunt, who leads the Policy Council, called it a bad deal because it favors imports with little U.S. content over cars made in North America that often have high domestic parts and labor. For beginners, this means that if a car is assembled in Japan with few American-made components, it gets a lighter tax burden, potentially hurting jobs here at home. Lutnick acknowledges that U.S. firms might feel a bit down about the tariff drop for Japanese cars, from 25 to 15%. However, he points out a simple solution. Companies can dodge those higher tariffs altogether by shifting their production to U.S. soil. Come on, there's no tariff if you build it in America, he said, emphasizing that sticking to domestic manufacturing is key to thriving under these rules. And this is the part most people miss. While relocating factories might sound straightforward, it could involve big costs and time, like retraining workers or building new plants, which not every company can do overnight. For example, if Ford decides to move assembly lines from Mexico to Michigan, it might create more U.S. jobs, but could also raise prices for consumers in the short term. The real-world impact is only showing up. Take General Motors, which estimated a $4 billion to $5 billion hit from tariffs this year, including a $1.1 billion loss in just one quarter. Stellantis isn't faring better, projecting a nearly $2.7 billion net loss in the first half of the year, partly blamed on these trade policies. It's a tough spot for American auto workers, who might see fewer opportunities if companies struggle with the added costs. Now let's not gloss over the debate here. Is this deal actually helping or hurting U.S. interests? Lutnick sees it as a win if companies adapt, but critics argue it could weaken domestic industries by giving foreign competitors an edge. And this is the part most people miss. While the $550 billion investment from Japan sounds great, would offset the potential job losses in the auto sector? I'd love to hear your take. Do you think U.S. CEOs are truly okay with this? Or is there more to the story? Jump into the comments and share whether you agree with Lutnick or side with the critics. Let's keep the conversation going.